We are going to see the next topic in Unit 5, that is electrical safety codes and standards. So, learning objective of today class is that first we should know what actually mean by electrical safety codes and standards, why it is so important, and what are the different organizations are there to create or develop such standards to ensure that medical device or a hospital to ensure the hospital safety. And finally, we will also have a knowledge about how these standards is we going to apply the different types or different classification of medical device. And followed by, we also discuss the testing procedure to evaluate the safety testing and inspection for healthcare facilities. So let me tell you why this particular topic is important, what is actually the problem is, and why it is needed, and what is the solution. The problem is that here we already know that there are so many electrical accidents happening in the healthcare facilities because of inadequate or insufficient or a poor inspection of medical device or insufficient safety standards. Then also there will be the lack of trained personnel to have on particular electrical safety. So this is the problem you can see more mostly in the hospital, like more familiar in the hospital. So that is a case or a reason there is a need arised. The need is that we have to frame or we have to follow the certain safety protocols across the facilities, and we have to train the personals or technicians who are going to operate the particular equipment with the safety standards. And also we have to understand what are the safety standards or codes are created or developed for the medical equipments. And we have to ensure the regularity compliance, whether we have meet regular standards or a code, standards or regularization before using to the patient. So finally, we have brought the solution like to overcome this problem by addressing by getting know the needs. We have brought up we have brought up the solution that immediately we have to implement the electrical safety codes and standards and ensuring all the compliance through the regular testing, regular inspection in order to avoid failures or damages of medical device, thereby providing or improving the patient safety and also the hospital facility safety. So next we'll move on to the important topic of today class is that the introduction of electrical safety codes and standards. What actually mean by safety codes? What is the standards? What is a term called compliance? What is a certification? Who will provide this certification? So these are things very much important as far as the medical equipment or hospitals concerned. So definition of these things is that as on the whole, this is a systematic guidelines or the procedure or the regulations which we must follow in the hospitals when we are designing any device or when we are using the device or when we are operating the device. Okay, thereby we are ensuring the patient safety, electrical safety, and hospital facility safety. So what is mean by safety codes is like it's a mandatory regulations for the electrical systems to be followed, and the standard is the it's a guidelines or the technical specification which is being used when we are designing the medical equipments. And the compliance is like adherence of these safety standards and the codes. We have to ensure the uh, requirements need, okay, whether the whether we have compile with these standards and device in designing the medical device and usage of medical device. Finally, certification, this is the authority, there is authority people group of organization, they will come and check your medical device and provide the certification like they have properly compiled with they have very good compliance with safety codes and standards, thereby the people or the hospitals who are people who are maybe in the hospitals without any fear they can use it on the patients. It ensures that it will provide the patient safety. That is the meaning of certification of that medical device. The regulation, you know already, it is a legal requirements that is very much needed. It is governed by the national international organization, which is most accepted requirements that must be implemented in designing the medical device. So what are the international standards are they? Okay, so we mostly familiar with IEC, that is International Electrotechnical Commission. I is also most of people you might hear this International Organization for Standards, and the IEEE and NFPA is the National Fire Protection Association. So these are the organization. They are working on the creating or developing the standards, which is going to be globally accepted when we are designing the device, so that thereby providing the patient safety and also the medical safety, and also they will more focus on the electrical safety. So these are the very much important organization that we have to consider it, based on the country the organization will differs. And we have one more organization, that is ANSI, that is American National Standard Institute. They also oversees the standards and regulation for the products and service, especially in the United States. So example, if you see IEC 60601, this is the particular standards, International Electrotechnical Commission standards will mainly focused on medical equipment standards. Here we have three types of standards: general standard, collateral standards, particular standards. If you say general standards, it is a most basic standards. It provides a foundation for the all performance requirement, assistant performance requirements for all the medical equipment. It is a very basic one, is the general one. It acts as a foundation for other two types. The collateral standard is like a it covers one broad range out of the among the whole, it may focused on EMC, that is electromagnetic disturbance, usually like alarms, environmental conditions, and etc. And particular standard is that it's more specific, specialized one. It's a special requirements to different types of medical equipment. So these three different standards: one is general standards, and then sub classification is collateral standards, and then classification is that particular standards, that is IEC 60601 hyphen 2 into XXX. Is like numberings. So NFPA double nine healthcare facility codes. These codes that we need to be understand, risk-based approaches there, electrical system, electrical requirements, essential electrical systems, testing and maintenance. So these codes also mainly they have focused on developing the standards, especially to improvise the healthcare facilities. To provide patient staffs and visitors to ensuring very good safe environment, clinical environment. So now the national tort code, it's like NFPA 70s. The purpose is that they're safeguarding the person and the property from the hazards, especially using yeah, it also arising from the electric codes. That is a national electrical codes. Again, it's ensuring the clinical environment in a safety, with very good safety. So the scope they have given, and they have clearly defined their scope, like in terms of giving a proper insulation and maintenance. They are avoiding the risk of shock. So the code cycle also they have given like 2 years once or 3 years once, but it's again depends upon the level of equipments and the advanced level of equipments. These are the safety classification and categories. Like we have a different classification, right? Like we have based on the applied parts, we have three classification: top body, type B body, type B of body floating, and type C of is the cardiac floating. And equipment classes also we have class 1, class 2, and class 3. Class 1 is the earthen type, class 2 is the double insulation, and class 3 is like low voltage type equipments. So based on the classification or based on the type of applied parts, we have a different safety standards and protocols to be followed. The high risk, high strict regulation we have to be followed in case of cardiac floating, because these type of applied parts, it's going to have a direct contact with the heart. So even the minute leakage current will affect the heart. That is the reason the type CF has very strict rules compared to the type 2 and the type BF. So in such a way, based on the severity, type, whether it is invasive or non-invasive, based on the contact type of the device, the rules and regulations, that is the codes and standards, will differ from medical device to device. So compliance and certification, that we already know. So not only following, we have to ensure these compliance in every periodical time, monthly, annually, biannually, or 6 months once, based on the risk. Like we have to follow the risk management throughout the lifespan of the particular medical device. That is the thing here, because at once we should, if we are compliant with regular device, it is not going to be end there. We have to follow throughout the life cycle, from starting to the end of the life cycle of that medical device. In each and every stage of medical device, we have to ensure the compliance of safety standards, that is the rules and regulations, or whether we have followed the proper protocols. So that we have to be checked on every stages of life cycle of medical device. So how we can check means by through safety testing and inspection. Like we have to test like our air leakage current, ground testing, and so on. And we have to make this testing as in routine basis, that is called routine testing. And also we can make it into periodic testing, like 1 month once or 2 months once, like that. And each and every testing, we have to make it documentation for the recalling the issues in future. So the mostly the key test, or we have a continuity test, leakage current test, insulation test, and a dielectric strength test. So here I have given you a small think pair share activity for students. A topic is applying the electrical safety standards in hospital settings. That we can have it in class to have an interaction for this topic. And these are the few assessment questions that I have given here related to this topic. Later you can go through this. Finally, the summary of today's topic is that here we have covered so many things, right? From what is mean by standards, why it is needed, what is the difference between standards, codes, and regulations, what are the different international organization standards are there, and how it's vary, and how we can apply these standards in for different types of equipment classes or applied parts, what these complaints process, how we are designing, how we are do the assessment and everything. Yes, thank you.